Hey, welcome to week 7 of the Team Draft Super League. I'm Justin Cohen. Fortuitously joining me this week is Grand Prix Cleveland runner-up Martin Juza. Martin, how's it going?
Hey Justin, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. You're having a heck of a year for somebody who can't at all close. That must be pretty nice.
It's all right. Yeah, I've been running pretty well lately.
In case you guys missed it, last week we had our very first elimination from the tournament. Gamers Helping Gamers found themselves unable to overcome Chris Picula's travel sickness. Based on his lines, it seemed like it might be dengue fever. Definitely going to want to get that looked at. This week we have another elimination match. First up in the red corner, Peach Garden Oath. William Jensen, Owen Turtenwald, Reed Duke, pretty much unquestionably the most dominant team in Magic, suffered a rather shocking loss to a smaller independent club earlier in this tournament, but you have to imagine those Grand Prix Cleveland trophies salve the wounds considerably. Their opponents are going to be Scottsdale Foundation, Matt Sperling, Paul Rietzel, Dave Williams. They took a loss in the first round to Channel Fireball after getting caught with a couple of middling black decks, which has not been working out for people so far in this tournament. They had a solid day one in Cleveland, but collapsed on the back nine. I'm really excited about this week for two reasons. First of all, these are two of the best, three, maybe four limited teams in the game. What would you say, Martin?
Yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. I mean, obviously PGO, they're great. They have 1-2 GPs together, top 4, like 2 or 3 more. They have great like chemistry, camaraderie. They're all friends. They're all great players. But so are David, Matt, and Paul. They have also had tremendous success together. I'm pretty sure they have won at least 1 Grand Prix together. David, I think, won 3 Team GPs. So they're all great players. They're all great team players. They have great chemistry too. I don't think I really have like a horse in this race. I think it could go either way. Obviously, PGO have like the momentum and everything. They won a Grand Prix 3 days ago or 2 days ago, but I think it could go either way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing about these teams. They just check all the boxes: proven results, unquestionable synergy, like individually great players, like. So we're going to get some great Magic. That's a lock. And then, secondly, on a more personal note, these are 2 really, really, really good teams. And after today, one of them will no longer be standing between me and the Team Draft Super League trophy. That's clearly in my destiny.
All right.
Or whatever the Team Draft Super League equivalent of a trophy is. Maybe some kind of premium emoji. I don't know. I just know that I want it.
You guys are pretty great. All the teams on the Team Draft Super League are just great teams, and like it's a delight to watch. I try to watch every week. It's a little hard because of the time zones for the European people, but we also get a chance to watch the replays and everything, and it's been a great show.
Oh yeah. On a scale from 1 to grape, how jelly are you about not being in it?
Oh yeah, I wish I could have played. Like I wish I could have played with Shuhei and somebody, because probably Corey, because we always see.
Oh, Corey's not watching Shuhei and somebody.
No. I mean,
wow. Now you know where you stand,
Shuhei
buddy.
and Corey, sure. He's a great player. Corey, actually, last week during the Grand Prix, Shuhei and I needed like a couple more points to like lock up whatever we needed. Shuhei needed 2 more points to get gold, to make sure he gets free plane tickets from WotC for the next season, which is a pretty expensive thing from Japan, and I needed like an extra point or 2 to get platinum before the PT and like get closer to Worlds. And Corey was in a spot where even if he won the Grand Prix, it would not change anything for him pro points wise. He would still be locked for gold, but since his worst finish was a 2, he would not upgrade enough to need like 1 less win at the PT to like level up. And even though he could have spent his weekend, hanging out with his girlfriend and just enjoying the time a little bit better, he still chose to go, and we did pretty well. It's a little unfortunate that we could not, close and get Corey his first GP trophy, but it was a hell of a weekend anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he'll 1 or 2 modern GPs from now, that'll be taken care of. I'm not too worried about that. You have to be in pretty good shape this year after this too. Are you looking good for Worlds?
Yeah, I think so. I have 54 before going to the last PT, and so some of the stats people on Twitter said that the line is like 5 less points than what it was last year, which was like 55. That's I think if things don't go super wrong, it should be okay.
Yeah, sitting pretty good. One thing to note that about this draft is that it was going to be the case that David Williams is going to be multi-queuing with a World Series of Poker event he was planning on playing in live while he was doing this, but it looks like he caught a bit of Picula's plague, and so he had to bow out of that. So we'll be getting his all. He has no excuses. Well, I guess the sickness, but we'll be getting his full attention during the course of this draft. So that's good.
I'm excited to watch, like, if the teams try to like pass cut each other. Like these teams have team drafted so many times, they have so much experience, and they know how to pass cut somebody, or like how to make sure that the person behind me gets screwed as much as possible. On the other hand, this is a format where you usually end up with a lot of playables. So even if you try to pass cut someone and the person behind you is also white or whatever, then he still gets to take a playable card out of the pack, even if you take his Gus Walker or whatever. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that shapes up.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are your thoughts on like the format in general? Have you liked it? Have you disliked it? Have you agreed with conventional wisdom?
I kind of like the format because it's aggressive. I'm a big fan of aggressive formats. I have some pretty strong opinions on the colors, maybe a little too extreme, because I think white is by far the best color. It's the deepest color. It has just about as many playables as all the other colors combined. It's really well paired with red, which is I think is the second best color, and then everything else, all the other colors are just so much worse, which makes them support colors basically. You can still make a good deck with it, but I would still rather be red or white before anything else.
Yeah, easy to agree with you about some of the color balance issues, which obviously the thing about that is that it's a limited issue, but it varies a lot by format. In sealed, it isn't really much of a problem that white is so overpowered, because what it's doing is kind of intrinsically a little underpowered in sealed, and so it sort of normalizes, and you can do the regular ramp and control stuff that you're supposed to be able to do sometimes. But in draft, it can be pretty punishing to just get consistently run over by whatever exert guys or whatever cartouches and trials, and have other strategies pretty consistently come up short.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, you can draft a lot of good decks in this format. You can draft, blue-red spells. You can draft blue-black cycling or whatever. But these decks need like a little extra help. You need to open like good like gold uncommons in your colors, or like the blue-red spells deck can easily end up having 3 Enigma Drakes and a bunch of Angler Drakes and like all the good stuff. But if you don't have Magma Sprays, you're not going to be able to kill somebody's early, Fenbearer or Gus Walker, and you will end up just getting your big guys tapped and just getting run over by the small creatures. So like you can end up having a good deck in different colors than red and white, but you still need to like open well for those decks to really come together. While if you're drafting one of the aggressive decks, you will always have enough creatures, you will always have enough spells, because there is so many like Mighty Leaps and some Brute Strengths, and like all these spells are very replaceable. There's a lot of them, and your deck will usually come together without any need of opening bombs or opening gold uncommons or anything.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've seen is increased focus on a smaller and smaller subset of cards. that these other decks need to be able to compete against some of the fast. Aggro decks Cartouche of Ambition is one that was a little controversial in the format. I think it's generally been rising in people's pick orders, and they realize that that's one of the ways. That's basically a single card strategy that can make you competitive against the white decks. And it can be really important to have access to. Splendid Agony is a slightly less potent version of a similar thing. And I think people have come to rely on those more and more in their non-white decks to try to keep up.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. There's certainly ways to metagame in this format and take advantage of maybe red and white being overdrafted because the colors are so good. I've seen people on Twitter arguing that like maybe blue is really good and maybe like these black like lifelink cards or -1/-1 counters is the way to go, but that still doesn't change that white is the best color and that these aggro decks are really good. If you're not in a pod where four different or 5 different people drafted the same deck, you will end up having a deck that will go 2-1 or better pretty much all the time. I agree that you can metagame and certainly take advantage of that, but I think that does not change the fact that white is just so much better than everything else.
Part of the bind that I found myself in the Team Draft Super League, with white especially, is that white is so good that not only do I want to be more likely to be white, because it just makes me more likely to end up with match wins, every white card I take is that much less likely my opponents end up with a good white deck. And exactly. It's like, those are all right. It sounds like we are ready to go to commercials. I'm sorry. All right, we are almost ready. We're just putting on the finishing touches. But what I was saying is that I want to be white and I want my opponents not to be white, and so it's really hard to just like ever pass a Gustwalker. It's like no,
exactly.
I want that deck.
I agree completely. In the finals against PGO, I opened a Fanbearer, which is normally one of the best commons in the format. But there was also Pull from Tomorrow. I'm not a big fan of blue, but obviously Pull from Tomorrow is a great card, especially in a format where you end up with not that great decks because it's only 6 packs. And so I had to take the Pull from Tomorrow. I'm also not passing that card to Huey, who will obviously use it to make a great deck and then draw a lot of cards, and my teammates are going to be mad at me. But I was not very happy about passing a Fanbearer to basically a person from the opposing team. And that's just a tapper.
All right, we are ready to go for the draft. Here we go.